In fact, the great muhaddis Jalaluddin Suyuti, in the ayah of Surah Rahman, يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Everything in the heavens and the earth asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in every moment He's in a new state of glory. The tafsir he gave of this ayah was this point, that no one remains on top forever. Everyone has to come down. Every elite has to come down. Every president has to come down. Every president who once was very well connected will come down and lose those connections. Every elite will come down at some point. And so this is why I'm saying elite people always feel very, what? Threatened. And this is particularly true in the Muslim world. Because when they see that America hung and executed Saddam Hussein, they're thinking, am I next? Are we next? Is my neck the next neck? If they got rid of Bhutto, they got rid of Faisal, do you think people don't realize this? You don't think the leadership of the Muslim world doesn't realize this? They realize this. And they realize that their seats are very fragile. The Muslim world knows, that's why they don't have courage. That's one of the major reasons why they don't have courage. They would actually secure their seat if they had courage. If they actually had the public with them, they would have the courage. But they have a very fragile seat given by people who think of them as dispensable, right? And they don't also have the support of the public. And so they're lost in the middle, somewhere in the middle. A political scientist named Moz Ka, he says this: mankind is divided into social groups, each of which is set apart from other groups by beliefs, sentiments, habits, interests that are particular to it. The individuals who belong to one such group are held together by a consciousness of common brotherhood and held apart by other groups by positions and tendencies that are more or less antagonistic and mutually repellent. And as we have already indicated, the political formula must be based upon the special beliefs and the strongest sentiments of the social group in which it is current, or at least upon the beliefs and the sentiments of the particular portion of that group which holds political preeminence. And then he continues and he says, the biggest problem that elitists have is the speed in which they transition. The biggest problem elitists have is at the speed of which what? Because you got more than one elite group going against another elite group. Tawheed can only be of Allah's. Tawheed can only be of Allah's. Amongst human beings, we're just divided into different groups, whether it is the elite or any other class, and we're all bickering with one another. There's no such thing as, and that's the thing that Muslims sometimes, when we even look at the Jewish world, we think all the Jewish people are what? One entity. It's not. It's not true. Jewish people are not one entity. And within the Jewish people, what is it that we're against? We're not against Jewish people per se. We're against Zionism. We're against what? Zionism. We're against the Zionist policies. And you have to make that distinction. And so, I'll end over here, but I wanted you to know this, and this is the question that I'll end with. How evil can man be? Carl Jung, who was a psychologist, said, it's very interesting, you know, animals, like a horse, is basically all horse, same type. But when you look at human beings, you have such good human beings who will say, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. Indeed, we feed you only for the sake of Allah. لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شَكُورًا. We don't want any gratitude from you, any reward from you. And on the other hand, you have human beings who are saying, what? Why should we give? أَنُطْعِمُ مَنْ لَوْ يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ أَطْعَمَهُ. Should we feed those miserable people Allah didn't want to feed? And that's how a large portion of the elitists justify the further misery that they cause upon the world. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمين.